Salam everyone and welcome back to SomaliDispatch.com. Opposition parties in Somaliland have complained about interference by the Somaliland government in terms of the upcoming election and in candidate selection. Raage Ahmed Yusuf is one of those candidates and he was running on behalf of the UCID party in Somaliland in Hargeisa. He was, however, prevented in running and pursuing the campaign by the Somaliland government. He joins us from Hargeisa to discuss those and other issues. Assalam Raage, and welcome to SomaliDispatch.com. Raage Ahmed Yusuf, you currently are not just a candidate, you also are the shadow minister, if you will, or the secretary of finance of UCID opposition party. But you've, as everybody knows, you've declared to be one of the candidates from Raage, and you had some challenges. But so let's start with why you decided and how you decided to run and what you were planning to accomplish.
Assalamu alaikum, and thank you for having me. I am been living in Hargeisa, Somaliland for 5 years now. Just over 5 years, I think. Originally, I came obviously to look after an ailing father, and I was here, primarily just for that. And I'm, obviously fell in love with the country, decided to try and see what I could do work-wise, as well as help for other family members and so on. So that's how I started off at the beginning. So I got involved with the community in Hargeisa as well as the countryside in the city. I looked around the whole country. I saw many issues and many problems, from simplest things as not being able to get their daily water. So, a lot of issues was actually at that time I saw, and that made me feel the fact that maybe I should get a little bit more involved and see what I can do with my knowledge, try to use that, my tacit knowledge, see whether I can improve the daily lives of people. So that's how I started off at the beginning.
Yeah, so then you obviously joined a political party and you became the Secretary of Finance, and then clearly you announced your candidacy for Somaliland Parliament. And you had an interesting story after that. Tell us a bit about the challenges that you had, including the arrest that actually preceded or followed your announcement for your candidacy.
If we look at politics of Somaliland, is a lot of the time you need to, especially political parties, they tend to play a small role in unless there is a, what's it called, an election or anything like that. So I decided obviously to learn my politics, and then my main objective was always running for office, due to the fact that I saw that probably if I wanted to take part in active change, that I need to be inside the government and inside where the decision making takes place. In terms of you look at what has taken part in my candidacy, at the beginning I was very much accepted. Throughout, actually, I was very much accepted. The support was building all the time. People saw me as kind of a bit of a fresh change, someone who's not really, who's a little bit quiet. He has his own opinion, but quiet. Does like to do things slowly. They saw me as someone who's fresh. Not necessarily, in politics and too long and made many mistakes before. So they saw me as someone who's educated, who's in the community, who wants to actually do something for the community and see what he can do. And I saw myself as someone who can when I saw other candidacies and other people around me, I saw that I was a strong candidate due to the fact that obviously experience as well as education. So I thought, okay, I'm actually a quite good, strong candidate, and I could do a lot of change. The area that I went to was actually Parliament, because obviously I think the fact that we lacked, people that can manage the country, who had the skills to manage the country well. In that political, in the Parliament, they've been in power for 13, 14 years, and their change has been lacking. So that's where I saw myself as the fact that I can make a real impact. In terms of some of the issues that I faced, I've faced many issues, to be honest with you, that's actually changed me and transformed me as a person, to, jostling or whatever you call it, being pushed around kind of thing, politically or
speaking to that, if I may, clearly the ruling party did not take well to your candidacy and obviously the support that you gathered over the years. And in fact, you and a colleague of yours, a fellow candidate from UCID party for one of the municipal offices, a municipal candidate, was also arrested. What can you tell us about that?
There are always challenges within Africa, and Somaliland is no different than any place in Africa. The people in power tend to do things their own way and do it by force if they need to, and I actually seem to be the first to go thing to do it by force rather than the other way around, And in terms of my arrest, and really, it's very difficult for me to say to you, this is what brought about my arrest. But obviously, I have what's it called? I'm a thinking man. So basically, logic tells me that obviously that it was not welcomed by what's it called? My candidacy, due to the fact I had a lot of support, and that support could possibility go to another party where they wanted me to that support to go to the other party. And my arrest was very bad, really. It was not based on law. So I'm upset the fact that it's not based on law, because as a person who loves this country, I would like the law to be used the right way, and institutions like the police as well as the courts to be used the right way. If it's not used the right way, then obviously it leads to long-term and problems of the fact that it sets precedents, which means the fact that then every president or every new government will do these kind of things on a regular basis. And that's actually, to me, that hurts me, and that's bad because of someone who loves his country. I would like the institutions to be strong, to be able to be fair, to be used the right way, in order for us as a country to grow and to be accepted in an international community.
Right. Clearly, you made peace with what happened to you. And perhaps that's a healthy way of looking at it and moving forward with it. What do you foresee in your political future moving forward?
In terms of my future, really, Allah knows. All I know is the fact that I want to be in the political game. I really now, inside of me, I'm burning. I'm burning to make real change within our country. to make that change, I need to tough it out and stand and keep going. I'm ready to work with whoever wants to work with me to make that, to make whatever changes I can make, to be an insider, to have an influence. And you know, the next years coming, probably I will do my best to push forward my vision, whether it's in a small role or whether it's in a bigger role.
Someone who grew up in England and actually has a lot of knowledge of what you just spoke of, which speaks to nation building and where Somaliland needs to go. Somaliland is a tiny country, unrecognized in Horn of Africa for the last 30 years, trying to get all of that accomplished. We seem to be at a crossroads. It seems to be there's a written and said values of democracy in the country, but when it comes to actions, be they the public, the institutions, the opposition, or the ruling party, action is different than the rhetoric, if you will. What do you think is the disconnect? Clearly, there's aspirations of democracy and nationhood in where you are in Somaliland right now, but the actions do not always help those, the actions don't help achieving the advancement that's needed. What would you say to the democratic hopefuls in Somaliland?
Nation building is what we want. We need to build our nation. Nation building comes in many forms. As far as my opinion is the fact that we have done a lot as a country. However, obviously, just because we have done a lot does not mean the fact that we should take the foot off the gas, you know, and not keep going and not keep moving forward, and not. And if we head in one direction, I think we can do many things. We all head in one direction. We seem to be always looking inwards rather than outwards, and we need to look outwards as a country. And we need to see what's missing from us, rather than actually this infighting that we currently always have, and in looking and saying, well, you know, this is bad for us, or you know, or people are looking at whether it's political party, whether it's the government, whether it's large companies. They're always looking at inwards. I've noticed that a lot, and we need to look outwards. We are in we're in a world where we always have to compete and compete on resources, compete on many aspects. We need to look outwards in order for us to be able to compete, in order for us to create jobs, in order for us to grow as a country. We need to look outwards. That would be my underlining thing. I will push to say the fact that I will blame the government due to the fact that the government needs to take an active role in leading. And if you're leading, it means the fact that you need to make concessions, you know? So the government should make a little bit more concessions rather than actually the political parties, you know? Due to the fact that they are in government, they're in power, they need to actively try to make changes. They need to take the lead and be able to be the peacemaker, needs to listen more to the political parties, needs to build the institutions stronger. They need to adhere to the law, and I would say I would challenge the government to actually to make sure the fact that they are looking after little people, the young person, and they are looking after our democracy, and they need to make sure the fact that they don't take steps that will, destroy those institutions or detriment them in any way whatsoever.
Well, yes or no question. Would you say Somaliland democracy is at a point where people are not picking their candidates, the candidates are picking their constituency? It's in reverse. Would you agree to that?
Actually, yes, in a way, yes. But At the same time, those people are normally majority time who are wanting the candidacy have been involved in the community for a while. Some, you know, we have 50-50. Some people have actually been involved and know the ways around politics. So they tend to, you know, push themselves forward to the family and so on to say, look, you know, well, you know, I'm the perfect candidate and so on. But however, that does not necessarily mean he does get chosen. So you're right, it's a little bit upside down much of the time. But there are some candidates who are you know, pushing actively, and the constituency is pushing them for the people.
Right. Again, I appreciate you coming on, and thank you. And hopefully we'll continue to have these discussions in the future where it pertains to Somaliland democracy and advancement. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Hey, thank you for visiting our YouTube channel. You should know that you can get updated Somali-related news and information in English on our website, somalidispatch.com. And also follow and subscribe to our social media channels and pages at Somali Dispatch so you can stay connected 24/7. Thank you.